Hi Yogi Edgies, thank you for watching the replay. Thank you for sharing and inviting any of your friends to read along with us. Hello, and good evening. Hi, how's it going? Hi Peerless Charm. I can't wait to see what I get from you from that Move, Breathe, Be challenge. I'm really excited, actually. I don't even know, I have no clue what it will be, but I'm excited. Yay! Hi, Luna Starseed. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting your followers. So I was planning on reading every day last week, and then I have no idea what happened. It didn't happen, so I realized that I should just go ahead and do it, even though it's 1:30 at night here. My sleep is all off whack. So thank you so much for all of you being here. Welcome. If you are new to my channel, my name is Lisa, and I am a yogi blogger. My blog is boxedge.org. I just share with you pretty much my journey of learning things about myself and exploring different ways of teaching yoga and learning yoga. And so one thing that we're doing is reading The Heart of Yoga. Myself and Jules Dreamo Yoga, I believe is her name on Periscope. And so we've been taking turns reading, and I know that she might be awake. She's a couple hours behind me, but I was supposed to be reading the Yoga Sutras, and then it just kind of fell off last week. I don't know if any of you had a similar experience. Have you felt kind of in a funk all week? Because that's how I have felt. And so yeah, so if you're new here, now you kind of know what's going on. If you are not new here, then you kind of know that we've been reading this, and I see there's 16 people in here, so I would love to know your name, where you're from, how you found this channel, and what you're interested in. Are you interested in just hearing the reading of the Yoga Sutras, or do you want me to give you feedback as we go along? Hi, from Chicago, Cosmic Being. What's your name? I'm in my pajamas, and it's quite funny because I actually got up very early this morning to go take some pictures of stuff for my Monkey Splits Gone Bananas challenge coming up. And hey, Jam Second Designs, I actually don't know your name, but I know who you are, so remind me of your name so I know. Hey, Lisa, what's up? Jason, okay. I'll probably remember that, hopefully. I'm really terrible with names. So, are you wanting to do just reading and just listening, or does everyone want reading a section and then any random stories and analogies that pop in my head? Do you want those in between? Because I can do either. They're gonna happen regardless, but let me know what you prefer. Because I know last time I read with the moonlight, then I saw a lot of people saying, oh, I wish that we could talk about it. And I was just sitting in the dark. So hi. I'm waiting for anyone to tell me what they prefer, and I will do it that way. But so far, no response. So, wherever the flow takes you and us. Okay, that's good. Just dropping in from California. Cool. Yeah, good night also. I'm going to go in order from where I left off, but if I have a random story, then I will go ahead and give it to you, since it looks like we want storytelling also. Okay, because I do not know the Sanskrit still, and I just butchered them the last few times I have tried, I am going to skip the Sanskrit names, even though they are in the book. Eventually, I will get the pronunciation guide down, but these words are way too long for me to even attempt, so I don't know if it'll do crazy wavy lines or not, but like that's like one word right there. There's a colon in the middle of that word. I don't even know what that means. So it's too much to take over right now, and it kind of like, it blocks me up. I'll read the small ones, like if there's small words in the text, I will read them, but otherwise it takes like 20 to 30 seconds just to say the title. So I'm gonna skip those for right now, and maybe next time I'll Google them, but I'm just kind of not in the mood to do that tonight. I honestly didn't even really plan on scoping, and then I just have been drawn. Hey, Gretchen! I've been drawn to scope more, and Gretchen's scope tonight actually helped influence me to get my butt online and share with you people. Because I've been very hermit-like lately, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I just don't want to talk to anybody, and I love all of you, but I just have this, like, this thing, I feel like being alone, or other than with my boyfriend, that's pretty much, like, the only person I end up talking to. Yes, thank you, Gretchen. So, thank you for sharing, too, that was awesome. So, we'll start reading them, and we'll go over any stories that I can think of as we go along. And feel free to chat if you have stories of your own. I'll try to catch any comments that I can, but it'll be a little bit hard for me to read your comments as well. But we'll see what happens, and we'll discuss it as it goes, and we'll see where we end. I'm probably going to try to not stay up forever, but you might have to keep me honest. Otherwise, I'll just be on here for like an hour and a half, because I can talk way too long. And let's check my battery. 21%. Guess it's going to be pretty short anyways, because I didn't even think about that. Okay. I'm on the couch, in the pajamas. That's going to fall over. Alright. So, if you have the Heart of Yoga book, which, by the way, there is a link to this on my blog if you like, are looking for it, then I'm starting on page 166, and it's section 2.5 of the Yoga Sutras in storage. Well, then you can just listen to it. I have not read all of it yet, so this is like my first time going through, so this is a learning experience for me. Well, we ended up, all of the previous ones are on my catch if you did want to listen to them. So 2.5 is where we left off. And I'm skipping the names in Sanskrit, by the way, Gretchen, only because I don't know how to pronounce them properly. Okay, so 2.5. The following sutras describe the 5 obstacles listed above. Wait, did we end at 2.5? I don't know, so we're going to repeat them even if we didn't. Okay, so the obstacles were misapprehension, confused values, excessive attachments, unreasonable dislikes, and insecurity. Just kidding. I'm sorry. I did read this. We're starting at 214 because I remember all these, and there's a long scope about them. Okay, 214. 214 says, does it follow that all our actions can lead to problems of some sort? The consequences of an action will be painful or beneficial depending on whether the obstacles were present in the concept or implementation of the action. If the obstacles are dormant during the initiation and execution of an action, there is enough clarity to perceive the correct attitude and means of acting and thus avoid mistakes. If they are active, however, there cannot be enough clarity and the consequences can be undesirable or painful. That was a mouthful. Doesn't anyone catch that? Did anyone figure out what that was meaning? Because I may have to reread that one. I'm a terrible reader, by the way, so normally I take forever to read stuff. So the consequences of an action will be painful or beneficial depending on whether the obstacles are present in the concept. Okay, so pretty much it's saying like when the obstacles were brought into the situation kind of depends on if the obstacles will be really painful or not. So, if they're dormant during the initiation and execution, so while you're doing something, if you can be very clear while you're doing something, then you're going to run in the obstacles that you run into once you've done it are going to be easier to overcome than if you are in a process of doing something and you're stumbling a lot during that process, so the initiation and execution, then it's going to be a lot harder to overcome those because we already are not in our clear mindset. We don't have that stability and that foundation built up, and that's why it's saying that if it was not present in the execution and initiation, then we have enough clarity to perceive the right attitude and avoid making mistakes. But if they're there during the beginning, then we're just going to probably go through a lot of pain and undesirable feelings while we're working through them. I'm guessing that maybe it'll talk later about if they're able to be avoided or not, but I'm guessing part of life is pain, so you're probably going to face some of these, but just know that if once you find your clarity, then you'll be able to overcome those obstacles. Okay, 215. So what is the cause of unpleasant or painful effects? Painful effects from any object or situation can be a result of one or more of the following: changes in the perceived object, the desire to repeat pleasurable experiences, and the strong effect of conditioning from the past. In addition, changes within the individual can be contributing factors. That battery dies so fast on scope. There is constant change of some sort in ourselves and in the objects of our senses. These changes may be unrecognized. Thus, we may have an urge to seek for more of the same when there is no possibility of achieving this. The effects of past conditioning can create strong reactions if what we are used to is not forthcoming. We must add to this the complexity of patterns in ourselves and the world around us. Thus, there is potential in any object or situation to contribute a painful or unpleasant effects. What can we do? This is great because actually I'm listening to a book. Gretchen, you'll love this. I'm listening to the book Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach, and she talks so much on this particular point actually, and it's really helped me get through some blocks lately. So pretty much, so what are the causes? So changes in the perceived object. So the only constant in life is change. I'm sure you've heard this a million times. You really do need to listen to it or read it. It's really amazing. I'm only halfway through, and it's been my go-to this week every time that I question myself. So changes in the perceived object. It's like I said, the only constant is change. So a lot of times we are not ready mentally for a change in the object of our focus, and because we want it to just stay the same all the time, it's like we just want to freeze everything all the time. I don't know if you notice this, but whenever we like something, we don't ever want it to change, and so inevitably it is going to change. Hey, Champ Angela. inevitably it will change, so really you have to accept that it will change, otherwise you're going to run into obstacles because of it changing. That's a lot of repeated words, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. And then the desire to repeat pleasurable experiences. So like I said, when we like things, we want it to happen more. I am a terrible, terrible person to fall into this category. Like, when I find a flow, I just want it to keep, no problem, I just want it to keep happening. And I had a very hard time in my relationship for a very long time because of this type of idea. Every time there was something good going on, it was like I just wanted to like hoard all of that good experience, and I wanted to try to make that happen over and over and over and over again, whereas that's not going to happen. Like, something that might happen one time is not ever going to happen again. It'll just be a new experience. And if we try to make them keep happening, you're just going to fall a lot. And once you just accept that things will happen and new pleasurable experiences will happen, but not try to make repeat experiences, then you don't stumble as much. It just flows properly, like nature makes it. And then the strong effect of conditioning from the past. So things that maybe we're not even trying to make repeat, but we've just learned as we've grown over time, then that makes us stumble. So the perfectionism in me that you may know about if you're an edgy is something that was instilled in me so long ago that I don't even actively try to do it. But if I can allow myself to release that conditioning of the past, then I don't run into as many issues. And the more and more that I just let life be, then I notice that there are less painful effects. Learned patterns that don't serve us, we have to get rid of those. Exactly. And more like, instead of thinking of getting rid of, because I think that's almost harder to think of and it's harder to accomplish, it's more labeling. Okay, so yet again, from that book by Tara Brach, she talks about labeling. Like, not that you really even have control over getting rid of them. It's more that as you can recognize those repetitions that are coming through in your actions and not surrendering yourself to those actions, instead, like, you notice that your brain brings them up, maybe to bless those patterns, learn from them, and gently, exactly, yes, exactly. That's definitely, I think, more doable because some of those patterns, you know, if they're natural, then you're not going to be able to release them. Like, nature will win over your brain. But if they're things that were put into effect a long time ago that might not have been from you, and you just kind of didn't notice you allowed them, then if you start to label them and think of when they come up, just say, oh, okay, this is the thing again. I keep noticing I do that. I wonder why I'm doing that. And if it serves you no good, then you have to kind of let that feeling run its course, but you don't have to take action on it, whereas in the past you might have taken action. And we are going to stop at this one only because I know my battery will die any second, but going off of that idea, I totally learned from this idea because I was so jealous of a person just 6 months ago. Like, this is not a very long journey. I haven't been on this journey for very long is what I'm trying to say. And so pretty much 6 months ago, if you would have met me, like, I was very unhappy and I was running into a lot of pain and discomfort because of just being jealous all the time, and that was something instilled in me. Once we label something, it becomes a reality. Like, what do you mean by that? Because I don't know exactly what you are getting at on that one. Well, based on the labeling idea is that I used to know I was jealous, but I just always acted on it. I know. I've just been in a funk. I will practice more this week, though. Thank you, Gretchen. Yeah, I actually practiced some today, Champ Angelo, at the gardens, but there was bad internet reception. That tends to happen all the cool places I go. Yeah, so I was very much suffering from this practice of being jealous, and I knew I was a jealous person all my life, but I just didn't know how to get rid of it, if that makes sense. And so until I learned from my therapist, actually made me do it, I had to learn to recognize when it was coming up and not judge myself, because judging yourself just probably makes it worse. Yeah, it was like in the water. I know, it was bad. But instead of judging yourself as you recognize that pattern coming up, instead just look at it as if you were seeing like a child go through something, not like it's a bad problem, whatever it is that you're wanting to label, but instead like note it so that you can recognize it and then see if it's actually necessary in that moment to act on or not. And when I started doing that, it was very hard because I was very quick to like react in the past. If I was jealous in the past, oh, you were going to know about it and we were going to have words. But that never had a good outcome. So instead I learned to notice in my head, and I would say, okay, whatever just happened made me a very jealous person. Like, why? What brought that up? And like what is triggering this, and what am I feeling? Once I could label that and say, okay, I'm feeling jealous, I didn't act on it anymore. I just let it be, and I said, okay, I feel jealous, but I didn't make any words or sentences. Yes. And I did change. You know what? Now that I label it and I can feel when it happens, it comes up so much less. Like, I rarely feel it. Compared to the past, my actions it was crazy. Like, I would just be jealous about the stupidest stuff all the time, and it was overwhelming my sensory reflexes. My whole body would be like very tense, and yeah. So I'm liking that we read that tonight, because that's totally going along with what I've been listening to as it is, and just reassuring that concept. And I know that it works because I've literally been doing it in my own life, and I've noticed a great change in my life. I'm much happier, and to be honest with you, my relationship is a whole of a lot better because I have allowed myself to let go of jealousy that wasn't needed. Yes, exactly. And that's definitely what she talks about in that book, Gretchen, is to have compassion for yourself. And that is what my therapist taught me too, because since I am a perfectionist, I tend to be like, bad Lisa, don't do that, don't think that way, stop doing that, and that was doing no good, whatever. Byron Katie, okay, I'll have to look her up after we're done. Okay, so my battery is critically low, so I decided that maybe I'll actually say goodbye to you today instead of just letting you die in the middle. And do you have any quick questions before I say goodbye? Any questions? Any feedback about what we just talked about before I go? Good. I'm glad you liked the conversation, and we'll continue reading these. I'm not going to put myself on a schedule because I realize that it just puts too much stress on me. my I only have one tattoo, and I went with like the biggest thing ever. Because I watch too much Periscope because of Gretchen. My tattoo is a scorpion on a peacock feather. I don't like the peacock feather, so I'm not going to really show that part as much. And then there's like swirlies because I am a Scorpio. And it's like very intense looking. So that's my tattoo. Oh, the face of the... I don't even know like where my camera is right now. The face of the scorpion is like down there. I don't know if you meant my face. Okay, so I'm sure it'll die. Yeah. And obviously being a Scorpio, you could understand like the whole jealousy thing I was just talking about is very common and in Scorpios, I believe. So, yeah. But that's my only tattoo. I may get more in the future, but I'm still having to get over the perfectionism before I can get another one. Yes, it's very intense feelings all the time. Which is why you notice I don't scope sometimes whenever I'm feeling that intensity. Exactly. You're a Libra. I don't really know much about any of them. I always follow JMA Universe to learn about them. My boyfriend is a Sagittarius, so it's an interesting... Yes, I am very territorial, and that's where the jealousy part came into. Yeah, you're welcome. You're the first one that actually asked to see it, Gretchen, so I've been waiting. I figured eventually somebody would ask. I just don't ever, like, go up close. Yeah. Okay, so I'll let you go because it's like 2 o'clock in the morning now, and I'm glad that we read. And let's do the secret handshake. So, oh, Gretchen, I loved how you said to share with your flowers, and it made me think of a good way from now on. If I want you to share with your friends and invite your followers, I'm going to say hug your friends, because our little handshake is like hugging your heart. Well, I also want you to hug your friends because I don't want you to hold out all of this good information and talks from your friends. So hug your friends if you did like this talk. And namaste. Love you. Bye. Bye, guys.